What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us on another episode of Honest Diecast. Today I kind of wanted to go over the whole deal with super treasure hunts. A lot of people getting into collecting might be wondering, what is a super treasure hunt? It's actually one of the most common questions I get asked when I start talking about Hot Wheels to people. And I mentioned super treasure hunt. They're like, what's that? Is that some kind of exclusive? Or so today I'd like to just kind of go over my explanation about them. There's plenty of videos, plenty of resources on where to read up about supers and stuff. But I'd kind of like to go over my own explanation, and just hopefully that helps people understand what they are. So just a brief history on treasure hunts in general. They've been around for 25 years. This year is actually the 25th anniversary of treasure hunts for Mattel and Hot Wheels. So they've been around since 1995. Treasure hunts were actually found in their own series until 2013, and then they became embedded into the more, I like to refer to them as subsets. Like for instance, this Audi is in the factory fresh. So that's what I would consider a subset per se. Now, super treasure hunts have been around since 2007. Previous to 2012, super treasure hunts were actually a premium version of the treasure hunts that you would find. So the paint would be a little different. It would have real riders, just minor differences, but they actually looked fairly similar. So that was up until 2012. And then 2013 going forward, super treasure hunts were their own premium version, and regular treasures became their own completely different model than the super treasure hunt. So just for the sake of discussion, I grabbed a regular treasure hunt. This is the Camaro treasure hunt from the H case. It's actually one of my favorite treasure hunts. I really don't collect regular treasure hunts all that too much, simply because the regular treasure hunts, they have a lot of fantasy castings, and I'm just not a big fantasy casting type of guy. I do collect some, but very, very few. This one is actually one of my favorites, along with the 2019 Q case Camaro treasure hunt. I think these two are probably the best two regular treasures in quite a while. But as you can see, there is a treasure hunt logo on the back bumper, kind of back bumper, rear quarter panel area. Other than that, the only real way to tell is there's the logo on the card. And I'll discuss the differences between regular treasure and super treasure just by looking at the logo. I'll set that off to the side. Now, the difference between, one immediate difference between treasure hunts and super treasures is going to be that card. You can barely see it in there, but you can see where it says, congratulations, we're celebrating 25 years of treasure hunts and you just found one. You can see the logo in there a little bit. It's kind of a silverish gray. And let's see, just use this Mercury Cougar card from 2019 because it doesn't have a card on it, so it's very easy to see. The super treasure is going to be a gold logo. So every year Hot Wheels comes out with a set of treasure hunts. There's one in each case. There are 15 cases a year. And the vehicle that's selected to be the super of that case is pre-selected by Mattel when they come out with those cases. They pick a car, and I'll go ahead and pop up a picture of this year's supers listed in order. They are all released, they are all leaked. So here's a picture of that. You can feel free to screenshot this. Hopefully that helps identify this year's super treasure hunts. So the way that it works is that a car is pre-selected for the case by Mattel to be a super treasure hunt. That car is going to come one per case. So you are either going to get a super treasure hunt or you are going to get the mainline version of that car. And then in the following case, you will get two of the previous card that was the super from the previous case. You'll get two main lines in that case. So for instance, this is the H case super for this year. This is the Audi Quattro super. It's listed on that picture. And then the following, the subsequent super is going to be the JK Super Sesto Elemento. One thing to mention is that in the 15 cases it's from A to Q, but there is no I or O case, and the reason is for easier identification so that the I and the O doesn't get confused for a 1 or a 0. So for instance, you'll go G, H, J. So H case, J case, there's no I, and that's for presumably identification purposes, so it doesn't look like a 1. And you can tell, just grab the mainline version, on US cards there's the J, and that's letting you know that this is a car from J case. And if you grab the Audi, this Audi is actually a carryover from J. So we'll use this for example. We'll use the Camaro because the Camaro only came in H, so here's an H case car. So this is telling you that this car came from H. And keep in mind this is only applicable for US cards, not international cards. International cards read completely different. So what are some obvious differences between the mainline car that they choose and the super treasure hunt version of that car? So we'll go over a couple. So as for going for the Audi, so here's a comparison of the mainline Audi on the top and the super treasure hunt Audi on the bottom. So pretty clear-cut differences. The paint obviously is probably the key factor. Every super treasure hunt has Spectraflame paint, which basically means it is a clear lacquer paint that goes over a polished or semi-polished chrome body. So technically the car is pretty much a Zamac underneath. It has no covering underneath, and then they spray a transparent candy lacquer on the top, and that's what gives it the Spectraflame look. And then as you can see on the top on the regular Audi, it's just simply paint. It is a very similar color. If you didn't know what super treasure hunt that you were looking for, say like you were going through a dump-in and you didn't know which one you were looking for, you might have trouble distinguishing these two. So moving on to the Sesto Elemento, and I have a loose version here too. I'll hold this up so maybe you can see. Maybe I'll just squeeze them right in between here. So definitely more of a difference between the mainline version and the super treasure hunt version of this car. The wheels are pretty much straight up orange on the super, where they're kind of like a gold on the Sesto Elemento mainline. The wheel style is completely different. Obviously the Spectraflame paint, the super is more of a teal and the mainline is more of a baby blue. Now if you look really closely, you can actually tell differences on the actual card itself. So if you're looking at the card, you can definitely tell the difference on this card. You can definitely see the difference between the mainline and the super. You can see the color difference, the wheel difference stands out. Now other ones like the Audi are a little harder to distinguish. The color is very, very similar on the card. The wheel style differences are definitely different though, so you can see that. But you can't just go off of card identification alone. You definitely need to look for the real rider tires. Obviously you can see they are rubber with tread as opposed to plastic. So let's look at a couple of loose comparisons. So we'll start with the 2019 H Case Super, which is the Mercury Cougar. We'll go over some differences. Since they are at a card, it's a little easier, definitely easier to tell. Obviously the paint is quite a bit different on the Super than it is on the mainline. The mainline is more of a flat green olive drab, while the Super is a Spectraflame green, which looks really nice by the way. And then you can also tell the difference in the wheels. The Super has the 5-spoke Traeger style Real Riders. Here's the Super with the shredded tires. And here's your mainline with the plastic with no tread. One notable thing to mention too about Supers is that somewhere on the car there will always be a TH. There will be a treasure hunt insignia. That's another way to identify as well. So let's take a look at another one. This is the F-Case example from this year, 2020. This is the RX-7. So this one, definitely a big difference in the wheels and the paint. The paint is much darker on the Super. It's a Spectre Flame, clear lacquer of course. Mainline has an orange. And obviously on the hood you can see on the Super it says 25TH. I believe all of the Supers this year have a 25 along with the TH to signify 25th anniversary. Pretty clear-cut difference on this one, as you can see, definitely just by the color. Now Mattel was kind enough to throw us a curveball this year on G-Case. For the first time that I can remember, the Super and the Mainline were actually completely different colors. So they threw us a curveball on the R35 Super, Mainline obviously being the white one with the red stripe, and the Super being the Spectre Flame blue with the white stripe. Kind of hard to see on this one, but you can also see the 25TH on where the license plate would go on this one. This is definitely so far this is my favorite Super from this year. I absolutely love this car. I was actually lucky enough to pull one of these from a case at Target, and it was a unicorn case. I got the ID Chase, the Mainline, the Super, and the regular treasure hunt, which was the Daytona tuned Daytona Charger. So if you're hunting for older ones, here's an example of the Datsun wagon Super versus its Mainline. I believe this was 2014 Q case. So I'll just set that down real quick. So up here, Q case, and the Super was from 2014 if I remember right. So yeah, definitely a difference on this one. The way to find Supers in these is a little different. This one does not have a logo on the back of the card. The green is a different color. And then obviously besides that, the Real Riders, the Spectre Flame paint is different from the main, but you still have the TH insignia on the card as well. Here's another quick comparison of the card differences. This is the Mainline Cougar from H-Case, and then this is the Super Treasure Hunt from 2019 H-Case as well. And you can obviously see the difference in the wheels, the difference in the paint, and then of course the gold Super Treasure Hunt logo on the back. So what's the best way to find out what car is going to be a Super in upcoming cases? There are many resources to find out that information. If you like to go online and go on a website, I recommend hwtreasure.com. I'll definitely post a link in the description below so you can check out that website. Absolutely encyclopedia amount loads of information regarding regular treasure hunts, super treasure hunts all throughout the years. I believe they're even getting started on 2021s, so we already know what's coming next year. As far as interactive and video, I would recommend thehunted.com. They also have a website where you can check out leaked pictures of mainlines, Real Riders, Supers, and all that. But you got to visit these sites and subscribe to them to know what's coming. But the best way to find Supers is to know what's coming in what case, and being able to identify cases when you find them by looking at the back of the card. As mentioned, just grabbing this, I grabbed this car and I already know that this car was the HK Super and it carried over into J. So if I want to find out, is it a carryover? Yes, it's a carryover into J. As mentioned, this Super is the HK Super, and you're either going to get this car or this car in the case. And then when you carry over to J, you're going to get 2 main lines, and this will be your super. And same thing will apply for KKs. You will get 2 of these in KKs, 2 of the main lines, and then your next super is going to be the 57 Chevy, which I don't have an example to show. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Leave your comments down below if you have any more suggestions on helping people identify supers. If you have any more insight to give as far as what a new collector can do to get on board with finding supers. If it's one piece of advice I can give a new collector, don't be like me. When I found my first super in the wild, which was a Back to the Future hover last year, I became obsessed, and I wanted to find nothing but supers. And I still get that way occasionally because I love collecting supers. I don't look to collect supers and flip them for money. I do it purely for collection purposes and trading purposes, or if I find multiples, I'd be more than happy to help somebody out. I would not recommend collecting supers to be your main focus just because they are so few and far between. Unless you live in an area with a very small population of Hot Wheel collectors. Unlike me, I live in the 5th largest city in the country with plenty of people that go out and hunt Hot Wheels and have way more free time on their hands than me. That's what makes it so frustrating for me sometimes, is because I made that mistake of focusing on just collecting supers, and after a while, when you put in so much time and effort and you don't find them over and over again, it starts to wear on you a little bit, and it can really take your mind and heart out of the hobby. So take that as you will. Now, as far as super distribution goes, I would say supers are roughly distributed probably every 8 to 12 cases, somewhere in that range. They don't come in every case. They are very sparsely distributed, and in my opinion, I think Mattel has cut down the number of supers distributed this year because they are so incredibly hard to find. Even when for instance, when I found this Audi, it was in 2 brand new dump bins at Walmart. So 18 cases between the 2 dump bins, and I only found 1 super. So that's just kind of the luck that you get. Some people will pull 4 and 5 at a time out of these bins. It's just a matter of distribution. There's no rhyme or reason to it. By the way, I want to give a shout out to my good friend Brian for hooking me up with this one. This is the one I've been searching for. This is the JK Sesto Elemento. This is the one I've been hunting super hard for lately. As I just mentioned, sometimes you catch a break and you'll get multiple supers and fresh dump bins, and he absolutely scored on a dump bin. I think he pulled like 4 or 5 out of 1. So just want to thank him so much for giving me that. I did record a video of the unboxing when I received that in the mail yesterday, but I accidentally deleted it, so I just want to give him a quick shout out. Thank you, Brian. So anyways, I hope this video helps answer some questions about super treasure hunts. If you have any questions, comments, or if you'd like to add any insight to what I've mentioned in this video, please comment down below. Thanks again for tuning in on another episode of Honest Diecast. Look forward to seeing you again. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.